Welcome to the first installment of the SurfShop installation and setup screencast video series. In part 1, we're going to show you just how simple it is to install SurfShop on your web server. SurfShop now comes in 3 versions: SurfShop Lite, SurfShop Pro, and SurfShop Unlimited, and all 3 install exactly the same way. So no matter what version you have, just follow along and you'll be up and running in no time. Also, if you're in need of an ISP to host your stores, we recommend the people that we use, Server Logistics, and you can find more information about them and the 3 versions of SurfShop on our website at surfshopcart.com. These server requirements are also found on our website, and I suggest you double check those before you try to do the installation to make sure that your server has all the necessary requirements to run SurfShop. The only software you'll need on your machine to do the installation is an FTP client and a web browser. So let's switch over to the FTP client and upload the SurfShop files to our web server. In the left pane, you'll see the files that came in the zip file for SurfShop, and on the right is our web server. So the first thing we will install is the SurfShop folder into the CGI bin folder, and we want to upload all these files in ASCII mode. So we'll just drag this over to the CGI bin and let it install. Now, the software I'm using, called Transmit, asks me if I'm sure I want to transfer these in ASCII mode, and I am sure, so we will just select Don't Switch and let that install. And that's done. The next one we're going to install is the SS Data folder. And this one gets installed above your web folder directory, your web page directory, which in my case is htdocs. So we will install this in the top level here. And again, we will not switch. We will install those in ASCII mode. And the reason that we install the SS Data folder above your web folder is for security purposes, so that a casual browser just can't find a way to get into it easily enough. And we'll let that install there, and it's done. The last remaining folder is the SS Images folder, and that contains images for your store. Now we could transmit this in ASCII mode, but I'm going to switch that to binary because of the images in there. And this one here now gets installed in your web folder, which again for me is the htdocs folder. So we'll let that install, and that'll give us all the images for our test store and where you will put your images for your store. And that's done. Just so you know, you don't need to keep your images in the SS Images folder. SurfShop will let you link your images no matter where you keep them on your website, so you don't need to change anything if you don't want to. Okay, so now that our files are uploaded, let's double check our permissions to make sure those are correct. So let's get into the CGI bin directory and the SurfShop directory, and we want to make sure that all of our .cgi files are at 755. And if not, change those to 755 so that they'll run. Some servers don't like 777, although you might find a rare instance where you need to up it that far to run the installation process, but 755 should be plenty good enough. All the other files in the SurfShop directory can be set to 644 or 666. Let's look at the SS Data directory, and the one folder and the data folder. All of these files now should be either 644 or 666, depending on your server, and the same thing with all the files in your output folder, either 644 or 666. You always want to run SurfShop with the lowest possible permissions that you can get away with on your server to keep your server as secure as possible. The other two folders that we want to double check our permissions on before we get started with the configuration routine is the temp folder in the SS data folder. We want this to be 777 to be writable by all, and also the store folder in the SS images folder. Once that's done, we can run the configuration program from your web browser. So in your web browser, what you're going to want to do is type in your domain name followed by cgi-bin/surfshop/autoconfig.cgi, and we'll run this program. The first screen we'll see here is the licensing screen, and basically this tells you that you can run SurfShop on one domain for one store, unless of course you've purchased SurfShop Unlimited, which you can host as many stores as you'd like with that. So if you agree to that, click on I agree, and this is the first page where you will set up the directory path information for the install. Usually this installation is correct. However, right now it looks like it's looking for the SS data folder in our htdocs folder, but being that we set that at the level above that folder, we will change that to match our installation, and we'll click Done. This is the configuration page where you can change any of the settings that you see here, and you can add items like your PayPal address if you're going to be accepting PayPal, or different result fields depending on if you're using authorized.net or LinkPoint or whatever you will be using for your gateway. All the other fields are explained in the docs, which is a very good read. And so we will leave everything else set as the default shows, and we will configure SurfShop. Now this screen here shows us all the parameters that have been written to the config.dat file, which is just the file that stores all that information for you. And so we will set our password. The username and password should each be at least 4 characters long. However, we do recommend creating a strong password and writing it down somewhere secure, so in case you forget it, you can get back into your admin section. However, if you were to forget your password, there is a way to reset the password and run autoconfig again to create a new one. So we will set our password, and we are done with our configuration. And that's all there is to it. Now we just get into the Web Store Manager, and from here we can change all the settings that we need to make our store correspond to our business. As you can see from this video, it took me about 7 minutes to upload all the SurfShop files, change permissions on the directories and the files within them, and to run the configuration process, the configuration script to install SurfShop. At this point, you're ready to put in your products and calculations and the rest of your store's data. And we will get into all of these choices in the next video, but in the meantime, if you just want to test out the store with the data that comes with SurfShop, select View Store from the pop-up menu, and let me resize this window here. And you can play around with the store. You can navigate by the categories and subcategories in the menu here, or you can navigate in the main part of the window, go to the detail page, add items to your cart, and view cart before checkout, and we'll get into the store in more detail in an upcoming episode. In the meantime, good luck with your installation, and thank you for choosing SurfShop.